Hello, and welcome to the Utopia Restoration podcast. Can you believe this is our 7th episode? And today we've got a very interesting guest. We have Jess, or as most of you will know her, Land Rover Girl, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So just to give you an update on what's going on with Utopia Restorations, I've had a hectic time outside of Utopia and hectic time in my personal life recently. So it's had to take a bit of a backseat. As some of you may have seen, the Range Rover Turbo exploded, which has been proven quite costly. I did consider breaking it, but it is here to stay. So I have bitten the bullet and we're getting 2 brand new turbos on that. The series is still going and we still have the Dingo, but at the end of the month or even early next month, I have a really exciting project which I'm hoping to share with you guys, which should be in our workshop soon. And there may be some other ones across the way because I sometimes can't help myself and buy too many projects. But we'll see what happens. So let's jump into this one. Hope you enjoy it. As always, leave your comments, feedback, anything and everything. We love to hear it. Find us on Instagram at utopia_restorations. And yeah, hope you enjoy it and let me know what you think. So hello and welcome to the Utopia Restoration podcast. Today I'm joined by Jess, or as you'll know her, Land Rover Girl. Hello Jess, how are you doing?
Hi Will, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. So for some people that don't know what your page is about, could you give us a little overview of what it is and what it does?
Yes, my page is all about everything Land Rover, from the community to the vehicles and everything in between.
Perfect. And you've got quite a Land Rover collection yourself, don't you?
I did as of recently. At the moment, I'm just down to 2 Discovery 3s. I say me and my dad both have one each, and a Discovery 1 that we like to share. I did also have a Freelander, which was my first Land Rover as I started out on Instagram, but unfortunately we had to say goodbye to Bonnie Lad recently.
Yeah, sometimes happens, doesn't it, when just the
It
costs
does.
become too much. I got to that position recently with one of my new ones and foolishly made the decision to keep it. So we'll see how that goes over the next few years.
You won't be the only one in that position, though. There'll always be someone that'll relate, so don't worry. You're not in the boat alone.
So your Land Rover history then, you started off with a Freelander.
I did, yes. Not it. I had a first gen Freelander for a month when I was learning to drive. My dad thought it would be a good idea, but sadly the gearbox was had a number of issues, so it didn't last very long. And it was that shocking bright blue color. It was electric blue, which I remember
Nice.
very well. Oh yeah, but that definitely was one of many things that set off the Land Rover addiction.
So where did your Land Rover addiction start? Was it with your first Freelander?
I don't think so. It definitely owning one definitely pushes you straight into it. But I think when I lived in Leeds for a year, while I was at uni, I lived next door to a Car dealership,
Nice.
ironically. It was like, as an art student, it was like walking past an art gallery every day. So not really knowing much of the vehicles themselves, just seeing the badging, Land Rover, not even really relating it to Car. I had no knowledge of what they did or who they were, but it was just quite interesting to see these brightly coloured vehicles and what was happening to them. So that was the beginning, and then a couple of years later got me into the Freelander.
Nice. And Cairns definitely an interesting one in the Land Rover world, aren't they? Because they do own Chelsea Truck Company, which, as many people do call those sort of urbanized Land
Definitely.
Rovers, Chelsea trucks. But what's your opinion on them? Do you like their aesthetic that they create?
Well, it's each to their own for who wants to buy them. I personally, I think I couldn't pull one off.
Yeah,
But two, I just no, they're not for me. But I do like to see what they come out with. That's
yeah.
one thing. So I think that's what I was drawn to more on Khan. Even down, I think I only know them and Bespoke, a few other. Mhm.
So I think Cairns quite an interesting one because I find they've got very interesting aspects. So
Mhm.
I quite like some of their wheel designs. Some of the front sort of grills and light surrounds they do can be quite good. And they did
Yeah. Mhm.
I think they did a commercial one a few years ago, or maybe even a year ago,
Mhm.
where it's just the wheels a 110 commercial
Yeah.
and sort of the lights and surround. And I thought
Yeah.
that one looked really good. But I think sometimes, they may go a
It's
bit over the
definitely,
top.
I think it's definitely, I mean, I remember the showroom being very minimal. So
Yeah.
everything was focused on the vehicle, which I really liked. They hadn't thrown everything into how flashy the building looked. I mean, it was all very clean and very polished, but it wasn't. They had so much faith in that building and the structure and the vehicle being the main piece. They didn't have to butter it up with much else. So it was walking past, and it was almost every day. It was really it was nice to see. And even if it was the same vehicle for a week or two, it was still, and it was usually always a Range Rover that was there. It was interesting. It was nice, but yeah, it's definitely it's interesting to see what people come with. I feel like with companies and like that, it's a good place for people that have a vision of what they want. They can go to them and say, I want this, make it happen. And you end up with something that no one was expecting. So it is, yeah.
And like those 6-wheelers they do, I think those are absolutely hilarious. And when I have a spare $250,000, I'll probably be getting one. But
that would be fun, yeah. Have the one just parked out front constantly.
yeah, as if a Defender wasn't impractical enough in like actual everyday life and trying to get into car parks, a 6-wheeler. That's definitely the one need.
That's what you need.
So you had the Freelander one, and then after that, did you get your Freelander 2?
I got a facelift.
Yeah.
Yes, I got that I actually got that as a birthday present from my family as a group.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, it was a very heartwarming moment. I remember my dad crying as much as I did. It was a very touching moment. Because he's quite an avid Land Rover fan, but I don't think he expected it to pass on to me. But the Freelander definitely is it's got a very special place in my heart, the Freelander.
So just to quickly touch on what you said about your dad, do you feel that he was one of your main draws of getting into sort of Land Rovers? Because this is something that we've sort of found from other people, is that sort of the car passion is a bit hereditary almost.
Not, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but not really. He never spoke about Land Rovers, but he speaks a lot of the military and the army. He's definitely, it's a big part of his life. But no, I think getting the Freelander brought he knew what to get to start off with, since I just passed my test. No issues with driving, but he's a driving instructor himself now, so he thought,
cool,
we want to go for affordable that she can run herself, because I was still a student at the time, and he said, and something that I can still fix myself and isn't going to break, hopefully, all the time. But that it just happens. But he knew what he was looking for. He knew I wanted a Freelander, and I think since getting the Freelander, it's re-sparked his interest. He's realised we have something to talk about, something in common. So he's just gone full blown into this, his passion for Land Rovers, and he's embraced his after we got mine. But no, he's definitely it's brought his back, I think, more than.
And he's also on Instagram, isn't he? He's at Land Rover Dad.
Yes, he is. He doesn't post at the moment. He's he's a very big traditionalist with social media, but he does like to follow people, and he likes to keep up with anything Land Rover related, really.
Yeah. So the facelifted Freelander is quite an interesting one, because I've looked at it sort of a few times whenever I've been looking to buy a Land Rover, and they've fallen a lot in price, haven't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
But in the community, sometimes they're contested as not proper Land Rovers, because it was sort of at that changing point, wasn't it, for Land Rover, sort of when Discoveries were starting to come out, and then the Freelander. But what's your sort of views on its versatility and its sort of embeddedness as a true Land Rover?
Well, as far as it goes, it's you can heavily modify it if you want to. You can keep it standard, despite the fact it will not go where a Defender goes. It wasn't designed for that, and it won't be nearly as what should we say? I don't really know how I'd compare it to the Discovery, because it is very close in its comfort, not so much its size.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of my Discovery, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. They'd make a great beach runner. I did used to get that comment a lot with the Freelander. It's not a proper, get yourself a proper Land Rover. But I honestly don't know what to say about that comment about the Freelander. I used to just feel quite confused. But I suppose it's a really difficult, because you have Defenders, which I'd never consider a Defender for a everyday vehicle. Not something for what I personally would use for an everyday vehicle. But when I see farmers using it, it's different. Or if you see someone wanting to use it still serves its own purpose, just like the Discovery. But the Freelander doesn't really fall into that either of them categories of a heavy utility vehicle or a big family SUV.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have a spot to compare to either of those two things. So I think that's why it's struggled a little with But in saying that, especially the Freelander 2, I'm very impressed with. I can't believe how good they are. I don't even think they need modifying.
No.
Just drive it.
Drive it and enjoy it.
Yeah, pair of good tires and just enjoy it.
And your Freelander 1, was it a 3-door or a 5-door?
It was a 3-door, yeah.
Did you ever take off the rear part? I don't even know what you'd call it, like the rear clamshell?
Yeah, that's a good one, a clamshell. I like that a lot. I still have that, actually. I kept the top of the clamshell. I took it off once, the first summer that I had it, and then the weather was never good enough again to take it off. And it is great. It's a lot of fun with the top down.
Yeah, because I don't know, what would you classify it as? It's sort of like a semi-convertible, aren't they? They're sort of that weird hybrid.
Yeah, I think so. Like almost a go-kart kind of feeling.
Yeah.
With the 3-door, I felt like there was definitely it's definitely got a sporty vibe to it, and a very retro, so retro that especially if you put the bars back on after the hood's off, so you've got there's so much fun and room to play with it. It's really fun.
No, I just think they're good around fun. I've been looking at them a few times, and I guarantee at some point in the future I will end up getting one, because I keep sort of looking in classifieds, and they are at the point they are at slightly lower prices if you get the right one. There are a lot that were possibly brought by people who wanted a bit of a crossover at that time, and you can tell they've been used on the school run, and those ones are trashed.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some gems out there.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You've now got a Discovery 3, correct?
Yes.
And a 4?
Sadly not. I have the Discovery 3 that's still Tango and bog standard. I think it's a Sport as well, so it's just the lowest spec that you can get. My dad has the GS, I think.
Okay.
That's a little bit higher up, but he's going into facelifting his, and
very nice.
Then we have the Discovery 1, which we both enjoy.
Yeah, Discovery ones are very cool.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, they're definitely good buys at the moment, aren't they? They're, as well as all Land Rovers seem to be doing at the minute, appreciating
definitely.
extremely fastly.
Yeah, the Range Rover Classic is having its moment in rarity. Everyone's kind of jumping for what even I really want a Range Rover Classic at the moment.
Yeah, they are definitely skyrocketing in prices. I think you've now got to start sort of aiming ahead, don't you? Well, even I was going to say P38s, but even decent P38s are going up in price.
Hard to come by as well. Yeah, so
yeah, just that's for the listeners. Everyone should start stockpiling Land Rovers before the prices start going even further.
Yeah, definitely.
So apart from Land Rovers and your Instagram account, what else do you do beyond Land Rovers?
Ooh, what else do I do relating with Land Rovers, or just in general?
In general, like sort of beyond what you do for work-wise, what you do, other hobbies.
work-wise, my work, I am an antique dealer.
Very cool.
Thank you. It's quite difficult sometimes, especially when you do stumble upon Land Rover parts and pieces, and it's hard to avoid temptation because that's not what I sell. But no, that's I have a family business, so I run that with my mum, and
Very nice.
I do all the picking up and odd jobs, and but no, it's been a good eye opener, and the Land Rovers are also involved a lot with that. So
Yeah. Good
definitely
workhorses to haul antiques.
definitely. And hobbies, I suppose, is this with the Land Rovers. There's not much else. Everything falls into it: the photography, writing, uh, painting, draw. It's everything's usually got Land Rovers around it.
Yeah. Yeah, as I'm sure most Land Rover fans do.
I
It
think,
somehow
yeah,
manages to creep into
yeah,
every
I
every
think
aspect of
everyone
life.
looks at what they're doing and then realizes their Land Rover is somewhere.
So speaking of, well, Land Rover and creeping everywhere, you've had some recent experiences with Land Rover Experience and with Exmoor Trim. Am I correct in thinking?
Yes, yes. Land Rover Experience, I can't really say much about at the moment because I'm still working with the content with that, but it's coming. And Exmoor Trim are a really just they're a great collaboration with their products. It's nice that they give the option for, as I have quite a, but I wouldn't say it's a modern Land Rover now. It's quite old now, but it's nice that they have products for that. So we collaborate. And they're a really nice team to deal with. So
Yeah, a very good bunch. And it's good that they are, as you say, making things for the newer ones, and like they make things for newer Range Rovers, which I find quite
exactly,
exciting and more interesting. Because even
yeah,
just
definitely.
recently, I've just been trying to find some small quality items and they sort of don't exist. And I sort of find that quite frustrating that these Land Rovers, like you said, we think of them as modern because it's '06. That is modern. And you go, oh, actually, that's now 15 years old. That's
Exactly, and I
it's
think
no
it's
longer
about
modern.
time. Like when I see something like a radiator muff for a Discovery 3, and then like I'm playing tug of war with it with my dad because he really wants it, but I've got it, and it's just one of those things that it's people with modern or what the Discovery 3 and the 4 and even the Range Rover Sports, the L322. These people do want accessories now and little things to add to their Range Rover or Land Rover. So it's really nice that that's starting to happen.
Especially them being small artisanal businesses in Britain
Definitely,
is very good.
exactly.
So you got to drive the new Defender at the Land Rover
Ah,
Experience.
so oh yes, are we? Is this the launch or the recent? I think the launch was probably the one where I drove it the most, and that would have been last year now I think, but that was a fantastic experience. That was with Land Rover Experience as well, being there to make sure everyone was safe and not going off track.
Not off
um,
track too much. What was the
no,
course like that you took it on?
incredible. I mean, as far as Eastnor goes, it's just Land Rovers are in the air in at Eastnor. You could just smell it and feel it everywhere. It's amazing, but the track itself just unbelievable. It's
Yeah,
so much fun. Um, to know what Land Rovers and who's been driving and the history of the track as well is really of the whole grounds. It's beautiful, and of course it's very rich heritage. It's everything rolled into one.
a true Land Rover home. So
Definitely.
they've sort of been a bit contested and everyone's talked to death about the new Defender. But what do you think about it? Do you think it did earn the name or should it be the new Discovery?
No, I think it's earned its name.
Yeah.
Definitely, and I really there have been times I've questioned myself and said, "Are you just saying this with your rose tinted glasses, so to speak?" But not really. Because I enjoy the Discovery 5 for what it is. I even think the Discovery 5 may possibly be um, still it's still a Discovery, but it's definitely more. I don't think it's as flashbang as the new Defender. I'll be honest, but the new Defender's capabilities are just
another world.
Yeah, I can't describe it. It's every time I see one or see someone driving one, it's so much fun to see. It's so much fun to watch reactions, responses. And I've not really come across negative. I like constructive feedback, and I like to hear people's thoughts, but there's not really been anything. I can't see negative anymore. It's definitely growing on people, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And so you sort of mentioned about seeing them out in the wild, and you enjoy seeing other people driving them. When you do see other people drive them, this is the big question: do you wave?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you get a wave back?
Not all the time.
No.
But I remember with my mum once in the Discovery, I could see there's a new Defender that passes the main road outside our house, and she said, "Please don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Please, please." And I wave, and they just look so like, is it a speed camera? Yeah. But
well, I sometimes forget which car I was driving. So like in the Fiesta, I'll try and wave at every Defender that I was driving at, and then of course it's like, no, actually, you're not in the right car. You can't wave at them. And then I've been out in the series loads more recently, and then like everyone's waving at me. Why? And I was like, oh, because I'm actually in the right car. And then I go back to driving the Range Rover, and then I try and do it again. And then like if you ever see another Range Rover coming towards you, they will not wave at you. There is no.
No, there's nothing. I remember. I mean, with a series, you're going to get waves. It's just the respect of a series as well, because they're the oldest. They're like the Queen Mother, shall we say, or it's a beauty to see one. But I have to admit, it is difficult with getting Range Rover or even Discovery 3 and 4 drivers involved. But Discovery 3s, I think I've had more waves from them when I'm driving than Defender drivers. So that's
nice.
Interesting. It's interesting, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Well, I think, like you say, they're sort of Discoveries are started getting to that age now, aren't they? Especially like 2s and 3s, where they are actually sort of becoming a bit of a modern classic. They are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as we were saying, sort of 16 years old now, aren't they?
People have found everything to relate to them with each other. There's always something now to do to connect each other to. It's very much, yeah,
definitely. So you've definitely had an exploration recently, didn't you? Did you go to, was it Amsterdam that you went on a Land Rover Travels?
Yes, it was just to go in. I'm over here with my partner at the moment in the Netherlands, and I thought, well, he wants to show me Holland, so we went for a day in Amsterdam, and there apparently was a lot more Land Rovers than there are now with the diesel emission issues, and they've put a cap on diesel vehicles, so it's quite pricey with the with petrol.
Yeah.
But there's still quite a few to spot out there. It's quite nice, and it was a lot of fun. It's always interesting to see Land Rovers in built-up areas and how they look.
Yeah, definitely. And also nice to see them abroad, isn't it? Because it does remind you it is that sort of international brand, and it does have that reach.
It does, and it's international. It'll blend in anywhere, because it's an expedition vehicle. It still is, even with Range Rovers, but I still get that warm feeling of home. So it's nice. It's it's lovely.
Yeah, reminds you back to being. You're in is it Yorkshire?
I was from Yorkshire originally. Yes, we live up towards Scotland now, near Northumberland. So in between the border. It's a bit tricky when people say, where do you live? Well, it's like a triangle.
Near Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we just 5-minute walk from there. But
nice. And you must have some good green lanes near you.
Yes, a lot of them. Finding them's quite difficult at times, but when driving along one day, you could be like, there's one over there, there's one over there. And then I forget where they all are.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. We've sort of talked about it previously in some other podcasts about, I always go for the council byways map is always a very good one where you can find the access and right of ways. But then some near me, they've been like, they are green lanes, but they've been blocked off, or residents have tried to stop cars getting down it.
Yeah.
So we've got very limited, but there's one or two good ones, and then I use those profusely.
Yeah, make it a weekend sort of ritual to go and see them.
Definitely. So I think we've asked this of all of our guests so far. If you had £100,000 for a car garage, what would you go for? And you can do this one of two ways. You can either do it for 3 car garage, or you can go for unlimited. Unlimited does set a bit of a precedent. I think Retro Paradise last week sort of went for near to 100 cars, because go for £1,000 a car, you'll be there.
That's true, actually. That's not a bad idea. Some of them might not run, but as long as you've got one of each, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can get 50 Project Land Rovers for £50,000.
That would be great. I don't know. It's a tricky one. If I had £100,000, it could either go towards a Range Rover Classic, fully restored, galvanized, everything, and then if I've got some left over, pour it into that again, and maybe, just maybe, get a Discovery 4 next to it.
Yeah.
In failing that, just buy a new Defender.
Yeah.
Make sure I get everything I want on that, which would be nice. But
if you went for the V8, you could get to 100,000, couldn't you? They start at 86, don't they? And then spec it up.
If it depends. I think if I went for a 110, I don't know. I think maybe a 90 would be the cheaper option, and then you can have a bit of room to play with the budget. But yeah, I'm dreadful with with maths, so I'd be the perfect customer.
Yeah, just keep doing the add-ons.
Yeah,
I think I'd go for, if we're going for a Defender, still 90 commercial, I think is the one for me. I quite like those.
They are brilliant, especially with the white back, the white hardtop. Yeah, and the Steelies to go with them. I think everyone's got a little, even the people that don't particularly like the new Defender overall, I think that kind of brings a little bit more, I don't know, it's definitely something that I've seen people comment on and enjoy.
Yeah, it's more utilitarian, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Not tempted to go for a Khan or a Chelsea truck in your 100,000?
No. No, it helped get me into the obsession, but it's definitely just appreciation now.
Yeah, definitely. So you've sort of mentioned that you're quite liking the Range Rovers at the moment. Am I correct in thinking that you are looking for a Range Rover project?
I am, yes. Well, we are together, me and Lawrence, but it's tricky finding one. I mean, we're quite willing to restore it. I think, if anything, to restore one would be much more wholesome.
Yeah.
The feeling, and having something that has had memories, hours, love put into it would be really great. But at the same time, just whatever we can get our hands on at this point, it's definitely a bit of a it's becoming a challenge now.
And are you looking for a Range Rover Classic or the 3-door, or which ones are you sort of looking for?
I'd love a 3-door. I really would. I think everyone, even a Discovery, I mean, you hear 3-door and you just think, damn, like that's great. But realistically, I think it's going to have to be a 5-door.
Yeah, understandable. I think there were maybe the wings and the doors for one 3-door at Billing off-road show. So if you got that, it's a good start. You can then just start from that.
Yeah.
If you can't get a shell. But Outlander's currently building one at the moment, I think, that looks very, very cool.
Oh, really?
All galvanized chassis. Yeah, it's that sort of deep mustard yellow. And then there was last time, I think he's rebuilt it once, now he's rebuilding it again. So that's got a Outlander V8 in it, which I think is a Ford big block.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's I think it's meant to be the ultimate 3-door Range Rover when it's built. But I imagine the price tag's going to be quite hefty on it.
Oof. But I think, somebody is always going to want one, so they're in the right place.
Yeah. And so when you are restoring it, do you have any ideas of sort of what color you'd go for, or like which interior trim, if you're going for, you guys sort of taking it through? Do you have a vision of what you expect it to be at the end?
I've always said I'd keep it stock, its original color, not stock. Well, stock as well. But
Yeah.
I'd always, if I find it. If I don't like the color, it still has to stay that color. It's not my it's not up to me to choose that. But we have a lot of disagreements on colors. But if it was the ideal color, I'd like Epsom green, or the closest color just to match with the Discovery one. It would be, and it's green. I remember my dad once saying, as when we were driving along, he said, here's a thought. He said, imagine if every Land Rover ever made was just different shades of green. And I loved that so much. I thought, yeah, that sounds like just green Land Rovers everywhere and Range Rovers. He said that would just be so cool. But
yeah, I could definitely live in that world.
Yeah, not everyone wants a green car, sadly, but it would just be.
Yeah, definitely. No, I love the green series is particularly, and then every time I keep looking at cars now, they all end up being green. The Range Rover is black, but dirty. If you squint, it looks slightly green.
Yeah.
And possibly at some point in the future, I may get it wrapped because it just looks better in green. It just looks better.
Yeah. I think Land Rover have done that to themselves, to be honest.
Yeah. So sorry for the listeners if you do have a yellow, red, white, silver, or any other color Land Rover. It should be green.
I was going to say, I have a silver one and a navy blue one. Only one green one out of the bunch, so I'm in that. I'm in that group. Don't worry.
Well, I was going to ask which one's your favorite, but we now know it's the green one.
It is. It's green. It's got to be green. I've also thought about wrapping my Discovery in green on numerous occasions, but still thinking about it. I like wrap.
Yeah.
I like the idea of wrap a lot. So,
would you do a self wrap as well? Because they're quite big flat panels.
Not me. No, not with the corners, because they're so round. I wouldn't be trusting myself to do that. But I'd love to have a go. But no.
Maybe do a little bit. Maybe do the door handles or something like that.
Yeah, the inside of the doors where it has to go in. I can do the parts that won't be seen.
Yeah, definitely. And so on your Discovery, did you recently have a trip away where you stayed in it?
Yes, we did. We went to Scotland and wild camped in the back of the Discovery, which was just, it was a lot of fun. It definitely sold it for me. Being able to sleep comfortably in a car is just perfect.
Whereabouts in Scotland did you go?
Oh, we went to Kirkcudbright. Kirkcudbright, I think. I really don't want to pronounce that wrong because I can imagine it happens quite often. But it's a beautiful little coastal town. And then we followed that up to I think it was the Solway coast. I could be wrong.
Oh, nice.
It was one of them cases where we knew we were going to Kirkcudbright, and then when we got there, bear with me. I can see if I have some photos saved. Ah, here we go. Yes, sorry, Fleet Bay we were at. So we went from Kirkcudbright, we drove along the shore until we arrived at Carrick Shore.
Very nice.
It looked across Fleet Bay. And like I said, it was just from there we said, well, we'd like to spend another night. We'll just keep going, see where we end up. And it was a lot of fun. It was perfect weather. There was a lot of people camping in different areas, so it felt safe in a respect. And there were a few Land Rovers around about, but we found a spot that we had to get through quite a tight bush to get to it. And I remember somebody came walking through the bush and looked at us and we were, "You all right?" And they looked back up and went, "No, mate, we're not coming down here." He said, "I'm not doing that." And we looked and we could see he had a huge, I think it was a Ford pickup. It was so big. Yeah. And I just thought, no way, they can't. We just squeezed in. So.
Any new scratches, or was it all good?
A lot of new scratches, sadly, but it's silver, so I've buffed quite a few out, and
oh, that's good. So you can't be precious about the paintwork. Like my one, I added some new scratches to it, not even on like green lanes, just country lanes of people driving towards you. And I was like, I am in a fence. I cannot move any further over. You will have to move over. But it's all part of it, really, isn't it?
It is. It's meant to go places. So as long as it goes, That's all that I worry about. But
Yeah. And the Disco 3 is meant to be good for camping inside. I know that the Land Rover photo album, he camps in his a lot, and it's
yeah, there's quite a few people. I think there's a couple of people in America as well that use Discoveries to camp in a lot. But yes, Land Rover photo album uses his. He's quite inspirational with his Discovery 3. Before I had mine, I was very jealous. But no, it's fantastic to camp in, and the Discovery 5's followed on. In I've seen the accounts I follow with people doing doing that with the Discovery 5 is there's not enough of it, but what's there is amazing. It's great.
I think they're very cool. Project Discovery 3 as well. He's got a very cool
Discovery
he
3
does.
Camper. I follow him.
And again,
I enjoy that.
Saw that at Billing, and yeah, very unique. And it's green, so.
Oh, see, he's got the best of both worlds.
Winning there. So you mentioned you've got a future project coming up with Land Rover Experience. Do you have any other exciting things in the pipeline that you can tell us about?
Well, the Land Rover Experience is part of a project that's with someone else, but we also have a collaboration with Land Rover based in the Netherlands coming up. So
very cool.
It's very exciting. We're very excited for that. That it's that they're very well. We're very grateful that it for it to happen. But apart from that, we just see how it goes, and everything involving Land Rovers is exciting. I see it as a collaboration. It's great.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. It's a good community to be a part of.
Oh,
are you going to be at any Land Rover shows this summer?
I was hoping to. I don't think I'll be back in time for the Land Rover Owner show. I'm definitely going to be there next year. I say that every year, but
yeah, I think a lot of people have had to miss, because especially where things have been so last minute this year, that it's been hard to sort of make plans in advance, isn't it?
Definitely, but it's so nice to see them back. It's nice to see them running. So it's hopefully next year it'll just be even more normal. Who knows?
Yeah. Even more Land Rover carnage. So you've got your blog at the moment. You've got your Instagram page, your blog, and YouTube.
Yeah.
So where can everyone find you on all three of those?
Oof, you can find me on YouTube typing Land Rover Girl. The blog is probably I try and focus on that the most. That's on Medium, but getting everything down onto paper can tend to drag out a little. So I try my best to not put people asleep. And then there's the Instagram, which that's where everything usually goes. It's sometimes Facebook, but that's quite a difficult one for me to use.
Yeah, I think Facebook's recently turned into quite a different platform to.
Yeah, definitely.
Instagram's got a lovely car community, and everyone's very nice most of the time. And
I think
Facebook's gone downhill a bit.
It does, yeah. It's nice to see. There's just a great mix on Instagram. It's perfect. So.
Very nice. So as we start to wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about or promote?
No, not really. I will add that my partner's page is Panda the Landy. He'll be also doing the collaboration with Land Rover. He's the one that's set it all up. So.
Oh, very cool. And he's got quite a collection of Land Rovers, doesn't he?
He does. If anyone's got a collection between the two of us, it's him. Yeah.
Quickly, which ones does he have in his collection?
He has a Land Rover 110, Panda the 90, a Series 1 80 inch. Very nice. Bear with me because I'm still learning. And he's still wanting to add onto the list.
A Range Rover project soon.
Yeah, I don't think when you love Land Rovers, we all want to just have more.
Yeah, it's just have the space to keep them, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Will. The opportunity's been great, and it's really been nice to meet you as well.
It's been nice to meet you too. thank you very much for listening. And if you've made it this far, you're one of our truly loyal listeners and appreciate it very much. As always, we're always looking for new guests. So I generally reach out to people, but if you have an interesting story, an interesting small business, anything and everything automotive, and you wish to share it, reach out, get in contact with me, and we can arrange to record a podcast. Hope you guys enjoy this. We've got some other really cool ones coming soon, which again, I just can't talk about just quite yet. But yeah, some good ones in the future. So speak to you soon and see you guys later.